In the fall of 2011, three friends, Mark Reynolds, Samantha Hayes, and Tyler Brooks, decided to take a weekend hiking trip in the mountains of Colorado. They were in their mid-20s, fresh out of college, and looking for one last adventure before life pulled them in different directions. The trail they picked was known for its beautiful pine forests and hidden lakes. But locals always gave vague warnings about staying on the marked path. The friends laughed it off. By the second afternoon, thick fog rolled in. They had walked much further than they planned, and when the trail markers vanished, they realized they were lost. As daylight began to fade, Tyler spotted something through the trees, a small wooden cabin. Relief washed over them. They knocked, but no one answered. The door creaked open on its own. Inside was dusty but intact. With a fireplace, they set up sleeping bags in the main room. Mark lit the fireplace. As the flames crackled, they felt the warmth return to their numb fingers. But Samantha kept glancing at the rocking chair. It was moving, barely, but enough to notice. Mark laughed and said it was just the draft. Later, when they were about to sleep, the sound of footsteps echoed from the second floor. Heavy, deliberate. "Someone's here," Tyler whispered. Mark grabbed a lantern and went upstairs, only to find nothing but dust and broken furniture. No footprints, no sign of life. Still shaken, they convinced themselves it was the wood creaking in the cold. They eventually drifted off. The next morning, Samantha found an old leather-bound journal tucked under the floorboards near the fireplace. Most of the pages were ruined by water, but one entry was still legible. "The children are getting louder at night. I hear them playing upstairs, but when I check, the rooms are empty. I told Sarah we should leave, but she says this is their home now, not ours." As she read it aloud, the others grew uneasy. The children part stuck in their minds. That night, the sounds returned. This time, it wasn't footsteps. It was laughter. High-pitched, echoing through the cabin. Mark bolted upstairs again. Still nothing. But on the wall, smeared into the dust of the floorboards, were tiny handprints. On the third day, they tried to leave, but every path they took seemed to circle back to the cabin. The fog grew heavier, muffling the sound of the forest. By evening, someone knocked on the cabin door. An old man stood outside, face weathered, eyes hollow. He asked in a flat voice, "Why are you here?" Mark stammered something about being lost, but the man shook his head. "No one lives here anymore. Not since the fire." Samantha asked, "What fire?" But the man only turned and walked into the fog. When they tried to follow, he was gone. No footprints in the mud. That night, the cabin came alive. The rocking chair moved violently, slamming against the wall. The journal, left on the table, burst into flames without touching the fire. The laughter returned, louder, surrounding them. The lantern flickered out. Tyler screamed as something yanked him toward the stairs. Mark and Samantha tried to grab him, but in the pitch black, they could only hear his screams fading upwards. Then, silence. When they lit the lantern again, Tyler was gone. Frantic. Mark and Samantha ran outside, but the fog was so thick they couldn't see beyond a few feet. They stumbled blindly until exhaustion forced them to collapse on the forest floor. When Samantha opened her eyes, sunlight streamed through the trees. The fog was gone. They were lying on the marked trail, less than a mile from the parking lot. But only Samantha woke up. Mark was gone. His backpack, his footprints, vanished. She stumbled back to her car, alone, clutching the charred remains of the journal. To this day, Samantha swears the cabin wasn't real. When park rangers searched the area, they found no cabin, no journal, no trace of her friends. Just a single child's handprint burned into the bark of a pine tree.